Welcome back to CrossTalk. Tonight's show is going to be Christian persecution. We're going to be talking a little bit about why that happens. We're going to do some Bible study, and we've got a music performance sent in by a viewer. So here we go. I believe freedom of religion will always exist in the world, as long as your religion is a government. Imagine the disciples trying to spread the gospel today. Lord, our post got taken down again. You ever notice how the more you worship the dark side, the freer you seem to be? But the moment you mention God, the creator of the natural earth, suddenly they want to ban you from it. If Daniel lived today, the lion's den would just be X. That's Twitter for you old folks.
Make a 1950s style advertisement. Black and white with old sounding audio. Put an old guy at the front or something. Here is the script. Say there, friends. Are you tired of the same old spin from the modern media machine? Do you long for good, honest conversation? The kind that puts faith, freedom, and common sense back in the spotlight? Then tune your dial kit or click that button to CrossTalk. That's right, CrossTalk, the show that brings truth, clarity, and a dash of righteous humor straight to your living room. So don't delay, folks. Like, subscribe, and share CrossTalk today. You'll not only stay informed and inspired, you'd be doing yourselves and your countrymen a fine service by doing so.
And that right there should give you guys an idea of where our budget is at. I mean, who do you think wrote the jokes? And on that note, if you would like to support the show, here's a way you can do so. So our first sponsor is actually me. So if you appreciate all this work I do, and if this is the kind of content that you would like to see, you're going to have to go down there and like and subscribe so that YouTube can show you some more of it. And so, a quick question. When's the last time that you actually liked your web browser? Most browsers today are slow, cluttered, and track everything you do, but that's why I switched to Comet Browser, and honestly, it's a game changer. And for real, guys, I have tried it out. I'm trying it out right now. So far, it seems a lot like Chrome. If you guys like Chrome, I think you guys are going to like it too, because for me, I didn't have to switch any of my logins or any of my information. It was all right there. It was all ready to go. Bam. It just kind of makes things easier. That's what I found so far. Common is built for speed and privacy. Pages load instantly. Ads and trackers are blocked automatically. And your data, it stays yours. A lot of people are saying that it's like getting YouTube Premium because of the ad blocker. Right now, the ad blocker, it does seem to work pretty good. I can confirm that experience. It also has a built-in AI assistant that helps you search smarter, like summarizing pages, finding what you need faster, and even organizing your tabs for you. It's like having a digital co-pilot right inside of your browser. And that is true so far. If you're a student, if you're a creator, this is going to make things really easy for you. You don't have to keep going over to ChatGPT all the time, copying, pasting links, all that. No, right there inside the Comet web browser, you can get a little AI assistant will give you a summary of any web page that you're viewing, any YouTube video that you're watching. It will give you a quick rundown. And I find that to be the most helpful so far. Plus, when you sign up for free, you get cloud sync across all your devices, custom themes, and early access to new features before anyone else. So if you're tired of browsers that spy, lag, or just get in your way, give Comet Browser a try. It's fast, it's private, and it's built for the future of web. Hit the link in the description below, and you will be able to support the show as well. So it won't cost you anything, and you get to support. So win-win for both of us. So here in America, especially, I think, it's easy for us to forget what real persecution looks like. For the majority of us, sitting here in our comfy homes, we go on Facebook and people say mean things to us. For the most part, that's the extent of our persecution. Maybe Some people get more, I'm sure. Everybody's situation varies. But when we think of Christians, we have to think worldwide, you know. There's people all over the world in all kinds of different situations. Some people are, for them, it's life or death situation. For them, they could lose absolutely everything. For them, it's something that they have to keep a secret, maybe even from their own families. There are people whose lives would be at danger from their own parents if they found out that they were practicing Christianity. And it's easy for us to forget that. And so it does seem like things are heating up around the world, almost in every kind of way, really. But for Christians and persecution worldwide, oh, it's definitely heating up. And so I've got a few articles here I'd like to go over with you. From Christianity Daily, the International Society for Human Rights president warns Christian persecution worsening worldwide. Speaking at the German Evangelical Alliance, Schirmacher described a broad spectrum of abuses facing believers. This takes the form not only of direct violence, murders, kidnapping, but also of legislation, social discrimination, restrictions in public and private life, and control of churches and religious services. Schirmacher, former Secretary General of the World Evangelical Alliance, explained that the yearbook's access contemporary threats to fundamental freedoms, examining state persecution, extremist violence, imperialist dominance, and anti-religious discrimination. Highlighting two case studies, he said Islamist groups in Nigeria, including Boko Haram, Islamic State West Africa Province, and Fulani herdsmen militias, continue to target Christian communities with sustained attacks. And we're going to hear from the Nigerian pastors themselves, at least one of them. I got a video I'd like to show you guys. A lot of nastiness going down in Nigeria. Looking ahead, he noted Nigeria is expected to become the world's third largest Christian country by 2050. Yet the nation's needs remain enormous, requiring more emergency medical personnel, early warning systems, and evacuation measures to avert further massacres. Turning to South Asia, he said the situation in Pakistan is also deeply troubling, as Christians routinely suffer under discriminatory blasphemy laws. Alongside this, abductions, forced conversions to Islam, and, wow, child marriages disproportionately harm girls from minority faiths, especially Hindus and Christians. Identifying root causes, he pointed to two primary drivers of global anti-Christian persecution. First, dictatorial one-party regimes such as China, Cuba, and North Korea that treat Christians as threats and therefore subject them to strict surveillance and repression. Second, militant political religious movements and groups that victimize Christians. Basically, in China, it's the government. In India, it's the government. In Nigeria, it's other politically motivated religious extremist groups. He added that believers in Egypt, Syria, Nigeria, India, and Myanmar are particularly afflicted under these conditions. He also cited examples of Islamic republics where state ideology fuses with religion to impose coercive control. Afghanistan, Iran, and Pakistan, which he said have tied their social order to a religion in a totalitarian manner and ruthlessly enforced their religious, political, coercive order with state resources. So Iran and Pakistan, the government and the religion kind of fused together, working against Christians. I'm not sure we're going to get anything more out of this article. Let's talk about China here. China expands crackdown on independent churches. This is from persecution.org. In April, the Chinese Communist Party released new regulations reinforcing its ban on independent foreign missionary activity. While the CCP does allow a small number of missionaries to operate under strict government control, these regulations prohibit foreigners from preaching, sharing their faith, or establishing religious organizations without official approval. In May, the government announced the 2025 Church Music Ministry Blueprint, establishing strict guidelines for worship in government-approved churches. Among other provisions, the blueprint calls for the creation of new hymns to spread CCP propaganda and the alteration of existing worship music to align with official party dogma. I just gotta take that in for a second. The alteration of existing worship music to align with official party dogma. Pretty dark stuff. According to Bob Fu, president of China Aid, Christians worshiping in government-approved 3 self-patriotic movement churches, I've never heard of that, must now sing songs in praise of communist heroes and the CCP itself before singing songs of praise to Jesus. Wow. The CCP has long leveraged the 3 self-church to advance communist ideology through tight control of foreign missionaries, oversight of sermons, and a requirement that churches advance party ideals over theology. Justifying these regulations, Chinese state media claimed that the newly revised rules promote national security. A common justification for CCP persecution of religion. We really hear that word a lot in America, too. That we justify things for matters of national security. So yeah, be cautious when you hear that word. Because it kind of seems to be a blanket term for doing whatever the heck we want. The CCP has long regarded independent religious practice as a threat to its authority. No surprise. Perceiving spiritual loyalty as inherently incompatible with the party's demand for ideological control. View any religious expression outside the bounds of state supervision is suspect, but we all know that communism, they don't want anything worshipped except for the state. Well, we're going to come back to the China thing. We've got some good news about that. A little bit, a little bit of light on the darkness here. Why Christians in India could face persecution for sharing their faith online. From CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network, an amended anti-conversion law in India is making it more difficult for religious minorities to share their faith. The revised law, known as the Freedom of Religion Bill, specifically targets digital media. Its supporters claim that it protects religious rights and maintains social harmony. However, the law actually stifles free speech and specifically targets Christians. The amended law has expanded restrictions against sharing one's faith in person to include digital communications online and via phones. So talking about your faith on a phone. It is alarming, and I would say it's definitely one of the most restrictive laws we've seen, he explained. It's targeting anyone who speaks out and is active to convert or share their faith. Christians in India are still trying to understand the implications of the amended law. This is about fear. When the people that the law is imposed on don't even understand the implications of it, this is just about fear. It could mean anything from sharing your testimony, sharing the Bible first, talking about your faith, could be seen as heralding yours better than others. And you could be arrested without any other proof beyond that. Many pastors and evangelists are responding by removing their online content. They're scrubbing their YouTube channels, they're pulling down social media, and many of them are even contemplating whether they need to leave the state. The revised digital anti-conversion law prohibits acts that are often seen as enticing individuals to leave the Hindu faith. So it could be like giving a meal to someone who's hungry in the name of Christ, or even just giving a meal at all. Wow. But being a Christian organization could put you at risk completely for forced conversion. So just being a Christian organization. Essentially outlawing Christianity. I mean, let's not beat around the bush, right? That's what it is. Okay, folks, I've got a video here from Nigeria, from a Nigerian pastor, that I would like to share with you. You know, the content matter is a little bit graphic, not too much, but I think it's important that we hear from the voices on the ground, from the people that are actually there experiencing this stuff, instead of just reading articles, you know what I'm saying? So, without further ado, here we go.
What I'm doing, I'm saying here. Special advisor to Trump. Now, please tell Trump to save our life in Nigeria. They are killing Christians in Nigeria. Massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims, Muslims are being killed. By who? By Muslims.
I know that's kind of hard to watch and listen to, but it does bring home the gravity of the situation for the people who are living in it. And for them, it's a daily thing. For them, you know, they need our prayers, people. They need our prayers. Let's see what else we can find here. Now, if you think this is all just far away from home, it is not. Take a look at Dearborn, Michigan, and 3 times a day, you will hear the Muslim call to prayer all over the city. People complaining, they don't like it. They've passed similar laws to the ones we've just read about in India. But in America, we can't just ban Christians from passing out information, so what we do is we pass laws saying that nobody can pass out religious information, and then we only enforce that on the Christians. And this is what's been done in Dearborn, Michigan. Now, this is an older article, March 21st, 2019. But that just gives you an idea of how long this has actually been going on. Look at this. The ruling might be recent, which is why this one came up for us. The 6th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against the city of Dearborn in a First Amendment case this week. Dearborn, Michigan, once the home of Henry Ford, is now an American city with a population that is about 30% Arab American, housing America's largest mosque. Now, I want to say right off the bat here, I have no problem with anybody being Arab. I have no problem with anybody being Muslim. There's nothing like that. What I do have a problem with is American elected officials legislating religion. Basically, let's just put that in a nutshell. Okay, this isn't about people. This is about powers and principalities. And that will always be the case here. At issue this time was not a mosque controversy. It was a giant Arab party, the Arab International Festival to be precise. And this time the issue didn't involve masses of people wanting to keep Arab Americans out. It involved masses of Arab Americans wanting to keep certain people in. Dearborn authorities arrested 4 members of a Christian group named X-17 Apologetics for allegedly breaching the peace at a Dearborn festival when they tried to preach to the droves of Arab Americans attending the festival. According to the Associated Press, the festival had offered Christian evangelist George Saig a free booth in 2010, but he and his followers were barred from walking around freely on the sidewalks with literature trying to convert those Muslims in attendance to Christianity. Walking around on a public sidewalk handing out information is always a First Amendment protected activity. After this event, there were even some aspiring politicians who claimed that the city of Dearborn officials were enforcing Sharia law by arresting the 4 missionaries. Let's be clear here. The issue is not one of Sharia law. It's a garden variety First Amendment issue, the type of issue you learn about in first-year law school. Yeah, I hope they sued the city into oblivion for that one, because they absolutely, positively deserve it. Let's take a look. You can see it for yourself. Ready for this one?
Minutes. It's just one of the many mosques that follow this practice in the city, raising some concerns with residents. This is the sound the daily call to prayer Dearborn resident Andrea Unger says is something she personally does not want to listen to daily. She's brought this up at numerous city council meetings, including on October 7th.
Your freedom of religion does not allow you to force me to listen to your prayers in my yard or home when you could do this by your app or text or phone.
From ABC 7. That's wild, isn't it? Right here on the streets of America. Dearborn residents are voicing complaints about outdoor calls to prayer that can be heard on loudspeakers throughout the city. Dearborn, which has a vast Muslim population, has many mosques that play the calls to prayer a few times a day. While some don't mind it, others who do not practice the religion say they personally don't wish to hear it. If the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. And that is so important to remember. Whatever you're going through, whatever we're going through, we know that Jesus has been there, and He's done it. If you were of the world would love His own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. And the world definitely loves its own. It loves its celebrities, and loves its billionaires. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. Because we're dealing with people that do not know God. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they had no cloak for their sin. So we're told in the Bible that the reason for the word is the knowledge of sin, so that we can be aware of our sin. And so what he's saying is if he never even came in the first place, nobody would be aware of their sin, and everybody would just be happy to be doing whatever they're doing. That's what they really want to do. He that hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works that no other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hated both me and my Father. But this come to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law, they hated me without a cause. Without a cause, Jesus was hated even by his own people, even by the most so-called holy and righteous of his own people. So you can bet that you and me and all us regular folks out there trying to talk about the same stuff are going to get it too. The world, for the most part, doesn't like God. They don't like the Bible, and they don't like us Christians either. That's just a fact. For us, that's sometimes hard to understand. How could someone hate what is basically light, love, justice, and all the beautiful things that God is? Because we represent the opposite of what they really love, which is darkness. We also represent the knowledge of sin. In John 3:19-20, and this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practicing evil hates the light, and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. Light is an important symbol in the Bible. Jesus is described as light in several passages. Light reveals things, and some of what it uncovers, we would rather keep it a secret. Evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest its deeds should be exposed. Those who commit sin would prefer that sin stay hidden and not be exposed. To come to the light is to say, here I am, this is what I am. I am not worthy because of these wicked things I've done, said the thought. And that's a hard thing, almost impossible to do when you're so full of pride, especially if that person enjoys doing what they're doing. Even harder when you've grown up being told that right is wrong and wrong is right your whole life. You wouldn't even consider wicked things that you do to be wrong. It's just a simple perspective, you know? A child who grows up raised by violent extremists, they don't consider hurting their enemies to be a bad thing, they've been told that they're doing some righteous act. You don't have to leave the United States to find that either. It's always a matter of the heart when you get down to the core of it. Every single time. This is why the world needs the Word of God. To actually be aware of what sin is and what it does to us. Key point is to us, sin does not hurt God. When you... This seems like a ridiculous thing, when you do something wrong against another person, it does not hurt God up there, The whole point of Him giving us this law and everything that He gives us is to improve our lives and to better us as people. It does something for us. And when we work against that, it does something to us. We would just be stuck in moral relativism, which is what they're trying very hard to spread around today. The worst thing that we could do is become like those who persecute us. We're not meant to be of this world, but set apart from it. We're all bombarded daily with negativity on social media, endless news stories about someone did something terrible to someone else. Every day. And it's easy to get dragged down by all this stuff, but friends, the path of the just is as the shining light that shines more and more unto the perfect day. More and more, okay? There is a thing, it seems, as darkness increases, so does the light. We have a living God. And He is out there working every day. And the Holy Spirit is out there moving and growing the church unto the perfect day. So I want to leave us on a more upbeat note. Let's think back about that Nigerian pastor and the words that he said. And I keep thinking about how he was asking, Donald Trump, special advisor to Trump, whenever he said, save us now and all that, Man, my first thought was, I don't remember anybody saying, President Joe Biden, come and save us, because I don't think anybody really believed that was ever going to happen. And so it's important to keep in mind, when it comes to Christian persecution, who's going to help? Who's the opposite force against that in the world? It's not China, it's not India, it's not even Canada. You know what I'm saying? So the United States really is kind of like the last bastion of hope, and this is like the Alamo when it comes to this kind of stuff, and it's important that we protect this. There's a reason why they said God bless America, There's just no place like it, because there really is no place like it. But my whole point was this. Congressional leaders demand protections for Christians in Nigeria. From persecution.org. Christians in Nigeria have faced ongoing attacks with minimal support from the international community, prompting members of the U.S. Congress to appeal to the President to take action. Thank God. Many have characterized the violence against Christians in Nigeria as Christian genocide, as violent incidents have occurred within churches and Christian communities in the central and northern regions of the country. Security conditions in Nigeria have deteriorated in recent years, particularly in the north, which is predominantly Muslim. Since Bola Tinubu took office as president in 2023, more than 10,000 people have been killed, hundreds have been abducted, and more than 3 million people have been displaced from their homes. In the first 7 months of 2025 alone, more than 7,000 Christians have been killed. That's an average of 35 deaths per day. The alarming situation led Representative Riley Moore, West Virginia, Republican, to formally request the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Remember what I said about President Joe Biden? In 2021, President Joe Biden lifted Nigeria's country of particular concern designation, but Congress is now urging President Donald Trump to reinstate it. Congressman Moore has repeatedly called for urgent diplomatic action in response to the violence, advocating for the cessation of the attacks, and urging the U.S. to take action. Christians are being persecuted and killed in Nigeria for professing their faith in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Representative Moore posted on X. The killings must stop. That's why I'm urging Secretary Rubio to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. We must use every diplomatic tool to end this horrific slaughter of our brothers and sisters in Christ. So that's what I like to see. That's what I want to see our congressmen doing. Things that I'm actually concerned about. I like it. I noticed that designating a country of particular concern seems to be one of their first moves against a country doing things like this. I was wondering. Here we go. U.S. foreign policy. This is a designation assigned by the Secretary of State to countries responsible for severe violations of religious freedom under the International Religious Freedom Act. Let's check that out more, huh? Here we have it right here, the top countries of political concern from a report from 2018. At the very top, Central African Republic, China, India. I didn't know that India was such a concern. Iran, kind of knew about that one. North Korea, yeah, expected that. Pakistan, yeah. All right. The CPC designation can lead to significant diplomatic consequences and may result in economic sanctions or other punitive measures from the U.S. government, though such actions are not always automatic. International attention and accountability brings international attention to the offended country's violations, sometimes leading to embarrassment or pressure. Pressure is good. Possibility of sanctions or waivers. So it kind of sets the ground for doing more, is what it seems to be, which is good. From persecution.org again, USCIRF condemns detention of church leaders in China. United States Commission on International Religious Freedom condemns in the strongest possible terms the CCP and its detention of Christian pastors across China. On October 10th, Chinese authorities detained Pastor Mingri Jin and 30 other congregation leaders of Zion Church, one of the largest underground churches in China. There's just one of many recent events that have prompted the USCIRF to issue the statement. Chair Vicky Hartzler stated that with these arrests, the CCP has once again demonstrated its utter contempt for religious freedom. We call upon the U.S. government to pressure China on this horrendous violation until it releases Ezra Jin and all those who have been detained for practicing their faith. Under the leadership of the CCP, the government has implemented the Sinicization of religion policy, which has transformed the country's religious environment. This required the complete subordination of religious groups to the CCP's agenda and Marxist vision of religion, and it eliminates anything contrary to their beliefs. Non-CC-backed religious activities are criminal, and this has caused the rise of arrests and persecution in China. Well, here's kind of a surprising one. Even American political leaders have spoken on this issue, as former Vice President Mike Pence spoke out, saying that the Chinese Communist Party must release Pastor Ezra Jin Mingri and other Christian leaders immediately. This attack on Christianity will not prevail. He further quoted Matthew 5:10, stating that, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." On its 2025 annual report, the USCIRF recommends that the U.S. Department of State continue to designate China as a country of particular concern, as they have engaged in systemic, ongoing, and egregious violations of religious freedom. On October 16th, the USCIRF held a hearing on state-controlled religion in China and addressed these issues. So who else is going to push back against these things, you know? When these things happen, who are people calling for? These are things important to think about when we think about Christianity as it relates to America. And so, I think maybe the next episodes, I'm going to talk about a bit of a lighter topic. I think I'm going to talk about how the light is spreading and moving towards that perfect day. You know, we're seeing lots of famous people, musicians, friends, people on YouTube. I mean, people all over the place are suddenly professing their faith in Christianity, you know, and we're seeing churches that are packed. We're seeing beautiful things move about, and I think that's stuff that really needs to be talked about, you know, especially in these times, because, again, who else is going to talk about it? That's why we're here. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, so that you can hear more of it, because you're not going to turn on the TV and find it. We have a music performance that was given to us by a man named Tommy Labaski, and he's a very kind man. I got the experience to talk with him for a bit on Facebook, and I wanted to share a letter that he wrote about this song to us. Good morning to all my friends. I want to tell you about a special experience that happened to me recently. I hope you all will read. Several mornings ago, in the wee hour of the morning, God came to me. He had me get up and walk to my desk. He laid a blank sheet of paper in front of me and placed a pen into my hand. The words began to form on the paper. In a short period of time, the paper was full of words. Right after this, I picked up my guitar, started playing, and singing the words from the paper in front of me. As I completed the song, I realized this was God's way of telling me that I needed Him in my heart. And at that moment, I accepted Him and prayed to be saved. With my lovely wife, I plan to start attending church as soon as I find one that is right for us. I want to give my life to Christ and learn more about God and Jesus and the Bible. I recorded the song that came about that morning, and would love everyone reading this to listen to it. Hear the words that God had me write that wonderful morning. I also think this song could help others like me, who may be in the same place in their lives as I am. With that, I would love for anyone who feels it appropriate to share this message in song. There's one more thing. This is completely serious. The song is 100% original work that came to me through the Lord. Thanks for reading the story of my experience, and God bless you all. Thank you, Tommy, very much for sending us our very first music performance. Love it. Absolutely. Oh, God bless you. And I think I am going to be out. I'm going to leave you with the music performance. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't feel obligated, though, because, YouTube is no longer about just getting the numbers anymore. It's more about watch hours. So if you genuinely enjoy watching me trip over my words, then subscribe. And you will see more of it. Plenty more of it. Thank you very much. And without further ado, everybody, Tommy Labaski.
I dropped down on my knees and I prayed that I would be saved, that Jesus could walk with me from now till the rest of my life. Bible, it's words I've never read. I don't know much of the story or the words that Jesus said, so I need someone to guide me, to teach me to live with the Lord.